Maureen O'Hara was the face that Hollywood's Technicolor era demanded. Red hair ablaze, icy blue eyes, and a presence that seemed to absorb every hue around her. Yet her brilliance on screen masked a life shaped by discipline and resilience rather than glamour alone. While cameras captured the glow of her beauty, her real story lay in endurance and self-preservation. From the structured household of her childhood to the unforgiving sets of Hollywood, Maureen's life was a constant balancing act between desire and duty, visibility and retreat, fame and personal survival. She became a legend, quietly forged by discipline and choice. Childhood of structure. Born August 17, 1920, in Rhea, a southern suburb of Dublin, Maureen was the second of 6 children of Charles and Margaret Fitzsimons. Her upbringing was orderly rather than indulgent, combining musical discipline with structured daily routines. Charles Fitzsimons ran a sporting goods business and later oversaw football administration, emphasizing endurance and precision over accolades. Marguerite, a classically trained singer, instilled in her children the rigor of practice. All 6 were exposed to music and performance, but creativity was treated as training rather than privilege. This foundation of structure and discipline became Maureen's first tool for navigating a world that would later demand both beauty and endurance. Early artistic training. Maureen began studying dance and drama at 6, learning repetition, control, and precision over expressive freedom. Mistakes were not excused, only correctness mattered. By 14, she was performing with local theatre groups, where the stage was not discovery, but extension of discipline. Every movement and word was rehearsed to standard, preparing her for the uncompromising environment of professional theatre. This rigor hardened Maureen, teaching her to endure and adapt. Her family treated art as a practical exercise in mastery, not as a vehicle for attention. Maureen's training instilled a rhythm of work and self-sufficiency that would become essential in Hollywood, where the glare of fame could be both opportunity and obstacle. Entry into professional theatre acceptance into the Abbey, theatre intensified her regimen, exposing her to a performance culture that demanded strict adherence to structure and stamina. There was no tolerance for emotional excess, favoritism, or improvisation. Roles were earned through capability, not charisma. This environment mirrored her childhood lessons: self-control, repetition, and endurance above all. Maureen learned to stand firm under scrutiny, internalizing a quiet authority that would define her cinematic presence. Her father also insisted she study typing and bookkeeping, not as preparation for stage work, but to prevent dependence on the arts. These twin lessons, mastery of craft and self-reliance, formed the foundation of her later career. Arrival in London. In the late 1930s, Maureen moved to London, entering film studios as a stage-trained actress, testing her adaptability. Early roles were small, and the camera offered no emotional feedback. Film was a technical medium rather than an expressive one, demanding professionalism over passion. Her breakthrough came when Charles Elton noticed her disciplined presence, signing her to a 7-year contract. With this, Fitzsimons became O'Hara, a subtle shift in name, signaling the merging of personal identity into Hollywood marketing. Cinema now required her to be more than a performer. She had to embody a marketable image. Discipline became her weapon, and resilience her shield, in a world that measured women by visibility and charm. How Green Was My Valley. By 1941, How Green Was My Valley demonstrated her capacity to blend presence with subtlety. She portrayed Ang Ha, a character who influenced the story not through spectacle, but through quiet, emotional weight. John Ford's rigid direction demanded that every expression fit within the narrative framework. Maureen adjusted her stage instincts to the camera's intimacy, eliminating excess motion or emotion. Her work was recognized through impact, not awards. She received no Oscar nomination, yet O'Hara remained a touchstone for female characters defined by internal strength rather than visibility. Maureen's skill lay in making the ordinary extraordinary, maintaining narrative balance without requiring personal attention or theatrical indulgence. Technicolor and physical demands. As Hollywood embraced color, Maureen's work became physically demanding. Scenes required climbing, clinging, and enduring environmental extremes. Fatigue was invisible on screen, but her body absorbed every strain. Roles like those in The Black Swan tested endurance, rhythm, and precision rather than relying solely on emotion or expression. Maureen's presence was not decorative, it was operational. Discipline became literal labor. Even as Technicolor highlighted her beauty, it was her mastery of physicality and stamina that enabled scenes to succeed. The lights dazzled, but Maureen knew that technical rigor, not glamour, determined the quality of performance, laying a blueprint for women's sustained professional relevance. Balancing fame and family. In 1953, Maureen's personal life intersected with professional demands. She left Hollywood as a single mother, prioritizing her child's safety over career advancement. This departure demonstrated her lifelong instinct for self-preservation and boundary setting. Unlike many contemporaries, she did not allow public attention to dictate personal choices. The move away from limelight was neither retreat nor failure. It was a strategic act of control, consistent with her upbringing. Her career continued, but on her terms. This ability to step away while maintaining dignity and authority became one of her defining traits, showing that success was measured not only by visibility, but by the integrity of her own standards. Later, career and professional legacy. Maureen appeared in over 60 films, each role reinforcing structural importance rather than isolated stardom. Her characters were integral to narrative balance, not exceptionalities to be explained. She maintained professionalism under harsh conditions, ensuring that female presence in cinema could endure without protection or special treatment. Her career trajectory demonstrated how women could operate sustainably in Hollywood without conforming to exploitative expectations. The honorary Oscar in 2014 did not create a legend. It acknowledged a truth long established. Maureen's work set a precedent. Female talent could be disciplined, enduring, and indispensable without relying on sensationalism or personal exposure. Silence and control. Maureen never played the press or public for advantage. She avoided scandal and protected her private life, using silence as a form of control. In an industry that thrives on exposure, this neutrality disarmed media and preserved her autonomy. Her choices created a legacy invisible to gossip, but concrete in professional terms. She demonstrated that agency could exist within the constraints of fame, that stepping away could be as powerful as stepping forward. Maureen's restraint was not avoidance, it was strategy. By refusing to participate in the machinery of celebrity, she ensured her work endured beyond ephemeral attention, setting a model for longevity and integrity in Hollywood, creating space for women. Through her life and career, Maureen O'Hara created space for women to exist without narrative compromise. Her example showed that toughness, imperfection, and independence could coexist with professional relevance. Later generations inherited this foundation without knowing its origin, yet it enabled them to work under conditions that previously demanded conformity or spectacle. Maureen's presence became a structural standard. Competence and endurance mattered more than image management. By stepping away when necessary and enduring when required, she established that women could occupy cinema without needing to justify their existence. A quiet, yet revolutionary act in an industry historically defined by exclusion, departure, and legacy. Maureen O'Hara passed away at age 95 in Boise, Idaho, leaving a life defined by choice rather than public demand. She was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery beside her husband, Charles Blair, reflecting priorities rooted in family rather than fame. Her career was not a series of peaks, but a sustained rhythm of labor, rigor, and contribution. By refusing to commodify her private life or conform to celebrity expectations, Maureen preserved a professional ethos still relevant today. Her legacy lies not in awards or headlines, but in a body of work that proves discipline, endurance, and quiet authority can shape history as profoundly as charisma or scandal. Conclusion: light beyond fame. Maureen O'Hara's brilliance was never confined to Technicolor. She embodied endurance, discipline, and integrity in a world built on spectacle. Her life demonstrated that true power often lies in restraint, that survival in Hollywood depends on self-knowledge and control. Fame illuminated her face, but it was her choices in the shadows that defined her legacy. Women in cinema today inherit a space she quietly forged, a space where labor, skill, and resilience matter more than ephemeral attention. Maureen O'Hara's life shows that the brightest light cannot compare to the quiet radiance of a life lived on one's own terms.